dear friends, welcome to Gallant IAS. So today we'll be having an introduction session to environment where we'll be seeing how to deal with environment, how questions are being framed for your UPSC examination, both from prelims as well as mains point of view. And we'll be selecting some specific core areas of UPSC, your favorite areas of UPSC from where questions have been asking repeatedly. All these things will be dealt in this particular session. So without wasting much time, let's get into the topic. So when it comes to prelims, why environment is having such a great importance in your preparation? As you can see, among the other major subjects that contribute to your preparation for your prelims, environment is having such a major portion for your preparation. That's why for prelims, environment is very important. It cannot be skipped. And also when we have a look on the number of questions that are asked right from 2011 to 2019, you can see an average of 18 to 20 questions can be expected from this particular topic. And due to its overlap with geography as well, you can expect 20 questions, an average of 20 questions for your prelims, which means that you have a chance to score 40 marks in your preliminary examination. Say if the cutoff is 110, then this 40 marks is contributing about 36% of your cutoff, which means that this is having its own importance. Environment is having its own importance in your prelims. And there are years where questions have reached up to 25 from this particular topic. So let's get familiarized with the syllabus of UPSC with regard to prelims as well as mains. So regarding prelims, it is general issues on environmental ecology, biodiversity and climate change that do not require subject specialization. Keep in mind, the thing is that you need not require to have a subject specialization while you are dealing with environment and ecology preparation. And for mains, the environment and ecology part is coming under GS3. Okay, GS3, that is conservation, environmental pollution and degradation, and environmental impact assessment. So this is the overall syllabus. Now, the environment for environmental science, when it comes to your preparation, this cannot be studied in isolation. This is having interlinking with your geography syllabus as well as knowledge of biology is required while you are studying the basic concepts for environment. So when we are dealing with the prelims, we can broadly divide the prelim syllabus into three heads. That is, the first one, as you can see, it is environmental ecology. Or it is the ecosystem part. Then comes the biodiversity. And the next is the climate change. Okay, so environmental ecology is such a very static part from where you can expect 2 to 3 questions. And more or less all these questions are directly asked from your static part or the concepts related questions, so that you can hit this 2 to 3 questions right. So don't miss those questions. So in environmental ecology, we are dealing with ecosystem, the basic concepts, the basic definition of ecosystem, the functions of ecosystem, the structure of ecosystem, characteristics. In functions, you will be seeing about the different functions such as energy flow, where you will be seeing food chain, food web, ecological pyramid, then ecological succession. All those things will be dealing under functions, and biogeochemical cycles are there. And group of ecosystems, that is biomes, where you will see both aquatic as well as terrestrial biomes. So all these static portions will be dealt under the ecosystem part. So your main focus should be, this is a very static part. So if you have a very good conceptual clarity regarding the ecosystem, then this 2 to 3 questions which can be asked yearly will be, you will be getting this 2 to 3 questions right. So this is regarding environmental ecology or ecosystem part. The next comes biodiversity, a very major portion which constitutes to about 10 to 12 questions asked every year. So regarding biodiversity, you should know about the basic concepts. There are very basic concepts regarding biodiversity that we will see in our sessions. Then about the conservation of biodiversity, that is the conservation methods of biodiversity. Then we will be seeing various protected areas, the various protected areas for the conservation of biodiversity, under which we will be seeing the national parks, the wildlife sanctuaries, the biosphere reserves. All these things will be dealt. Then we will be having biodiversity hotspots. We should deal with the biodiversity hotspots. Then we will see about different acts and legislations that have been passed for conserving the biodiversity, its historical importance as well. So acts and various legislations passed. Then we will be seeing various organizations that are at various levels, that is at the international as well as national levels, that are working towards the conservation of biodiversity. So organization is an important part, both at international and national level. So these are some basic modules which are coming under the biodiversity part, from which you can expect 10 to 12 questions. That is also coming from the current affairs. So along with your conventional part preparation, keep an eye on the current affairs that is happening around. Okay, next comes the climate change part on your prelim syllabus. Actually, this climate change is something which you can apply in your mains answers, because most often the concept of climate change and the different conventions, the treaties and agreements can be applied in your mains answers, and questions are also asked in your mains mainly for this climate change part. So this is mainly contributing to your mains preparation. Here you will see the conventions, the treaties, both international and national. Then you will see about different agreements. All these things will be dealt under climate change. Okay, so this is the rough idea of how we are going to deal with the prelims syllabus. And also you have to note one thing, the prelim syllabus itself says it does not require subject specialization. So just the conceptual clarity is enough. And it is saying the general issues on environmental ecology, biodiversity and climate change, right? So what are the general issues? What are the general issues on these heads? The general issues on ecosystem, biodiversity and climate change. We can just list them, right? Pollution is an important issue. Pollution is an important issue under which you will be having several types of pollution. Then comes mining is an important issue. Mining is an important issue. Then various conservation efforts and the issues associated with it. Right. Then comes environmental impact assessment and the various issues associated with it. Then you have got what else? The land degradation part, right? The land degradation or the soil degradation. Then you have deforestation. Such issues are also dealt with. So just see, these are the major issues that are saying in the prelim syllabus. And what does this constitute to? This is your mains syllabus. So when you deal in particular with the issues, the general issues on ecosystem, biodiversity and climate change, automatically you are concentrating on your mains syllabus, which is coming under GS3, that is conservation, environmental pollution and degradation and environmental impact assessment, which means that if you have a holistic approach for your prelims preparation, definitely automatically you will study the mains part of the syllabus too. So that is what I wanted to tell you here. That is, when you deal with the general issues, it is automatically contributing to your mains syllabus. Right. So this is regarding the overview of the syllabus, that is both prelims and mains, and also the module segregation or the topics that we are going to deal in environmental science for your UPSC preparation. Now, whenever we start studying something for our preparation, a general doubt that arises in our mind, so pop-ups in our mind, is that what all sources should we rely upon? What all should be the sources? So regarding sources, when we have a look upon the conventional material or textbooks that are available for environment in the market, you can see that they are a little bulky. So it is actually not recommended for you to read the whole text for your preparation. Whatever we deal in our class, the lecture notes is sufficient. Plus, whenever you feel you are lacking some conceptual clarity, go and refer the textbooks that is conventionally available in the markets. So please keep it as a reference material. That is our personal recommendation. Keep the books as reference material. So that's regarding sources, and also NCERT of +1 and +2, that is of geography. NCERTs of +1 and +2 is good for your natural vegetation part, and also for your basic concepts relating ecosystem and biodiversity. The +1 and +2 biology NCERT text is also good. So if you have, if you can just go through these books, that is NCERTs, then it is well and good. Now we have seen the prelims trend analysis. We have seen how many questions were asked from 2011 to 2019 for the environment and ecology part, and we have seen the trend for prelims. Now let's look at the mains part. So how the pattern is going for mains, and how many questions were asked in the past years. So let's have a glimpse through it. So these were the questions that were asked in 2019 mains examination. The first question was, look, it's from mining. It was sand mining. Question from sand mining. The second question, which was again from a prelims concept that we'll deal in our prelims module, that is carrying capacity and how it has got linked with the sustainable development. That was the second question. And the third question about causes of depletion of mangroves and explain their importance in maintaining coastal ecology. See, this question was asked in GS1. We are having environmental ecology in GS3, but this particular question was asked in GS1. It shows the connection the topic has with the geography part as well. So it was asked in GS1, which means that your knowledge on your GS3 has to be applied here in GS1 as well. The fourth question, again in GS1 it was asked about mountain ecosystem, how it can be restored from the negative impact of development initiatives and tourism. So in this particular question also you could apply your GS3 knowledge of environmental impact assessment here in this particular question. So these questions were asked in 2019 mains. These are the questions that were asked in 2018 mains. First question, that is about solid waste management. Pollution, a topic that keep on coming in news again and again. Second question about wetland, that you will see in your prelims module. The third question about biodiversity, how it varies in India, and how the Biological Diversity Act 2002 was helpful in conservation of flora and fauna. The act and legislation that we deal with about the biodiversity in prelims module, and the question from that particular area was asked. So here also you should know why that act was enacted. All those things have to be mentioned here. The fourth question and fifth question, look, they have been asked in GS1 and GS2 respectively. Again, environment related topic which came in GS1 and GS2 rather than in GS3. So here the question was, what are the consequences of spreading dead zones on marine ecosystem in GS1? Again in GS2, it was policy contradictions among various competing sectors and stakeholders have resulted in inadequate protection and prevention of degradation to environment. Comment with relevant illustrations. So here we know that GS2 is dealing with quality and governance and international relation. But look, a question that you can link with the knowledge you have gained in environment, which is GS3, can be applied here. The environmental impact assessment, all those things can be mentioned here. So these questions were asked in 2018. Again in 2017 also 3 questions were asked regarding the first question. Look, you have to note here it is again about mining, which is coal mining. We have seen in 2019 the first question was asked about sand mining, right? And back in 2017, 2 years back, UPSC have already stressed that particular area mining, but it was asked coal mining. So UPSC always have a trend of asking or giving importance to some specific areas, and questions from that specific areas keep on repeating. Again, the second question was regarding river linking. The third question, short from climate change, that you can relate with, because climate change is always having application in your mains answer, right? So this was in 2017, and when you have an oral analysis, you can see in every year 2016, 15, 14, 13, every year questions from environment have been there consistently for your mains. So which means that for your mains as well, this particular subject is playing a very important role. So don't skip environment for your mains as well. Now we have seen how the pattern is, or what is the pattern all about for environment in UPSC, right, for prelims as well as mains. Now the question which pops up is how to deal with this subject, that is how to learn the subject or how to stress the importance of this subject while you are preparing for your examination. So as every subject demands, there is this conventional part or the basic part where we will be first focusing upon, and there will be the current affairs part, right? Almost for every subject that you are preparing for UPSC, there is a static or conventional part and a current affairs part which you have to relate to with the static part. So in environment also we are having the same thing, the conventional and the current affairs. So this conventional part we'll be dealing in our classes. And along with your preparation of the static part, what you have to do is keep updating about the current affairs. Okay, why current affairs is important? Current affairs is important that because considerable number of questions relating with the current affair, and that current affair can be related to your static part as well. Such questions have been asked every year for the past few years. Every year such type of questions are asked from the current affair. So it's very important, along with your conventional part preparation, you should keep updating your current affairs preparation as well. So let's have a quick analysis through some examples from where you will get the examples of previous year questions. So we have selected some previous year questions through which we'll analyze how current affairs are asked. So these two questions were asked in 2019 prelims. So the first question is asking about cirrus cloud thinning technique and the injection of sulfate aerosol into stratosphere. So this particular technique or this particular scientific technique was there in the news for the past 1 or 2 years, and it was there with regard to reduction of global warming. The scientific methods have been there in the newspaper. And also the second question regarding Himalayan nettle, this was also a current affair. But the problem is that these pieces of current affairs were not the recent ones. So keep in mind, UPSC is not something which will ask you only the past 1 year current affairs. It will go to the previous years as well. These were there in the news for past 2 years, that is from 2017 or 2016 itself. So these questions were asked which were there in the current affair. Look, this is about microbeads which kept appearing again and again in the news. The question was asked. That is in last year, that is 2019. Again in 2019 about the chemicals that were used as pesticides in agriculture, that was also asked. This was there in the news. The plant Crossopus juliflora, which was mentioned in news, that was also a current affair, since it is an invasive species and since it was causing much harm, and the forest fires were also linked with this particular, because when it get buried it can form coal. So this was also there in the news and a question was asked. Then in 2017 about M stripes, 2016 about net metering, all these were there in the current affairs. Okay. So we analyze that current affairs form an important and inevitable part while you are preparing for your environment syllabus for your prelims examination. Now, the next task for us is to identify the core areas or the important areas, or we can say they are the favorite areas of UPSC. UPSC have favorite areas in every subject. It has got some favorite areas in every subject. And how can we get to know that these are the favorite areas of UPSC? Have UPSC ever mentioned it? Have UPSC ever mentioned somewhere that this is the favorite area of UPSC? You have to stick on to these areas for your preparation. Nowhere it has been mentioned. Then how we will get to know about it? By practicing the previous year questions. That's where previous year questions have got its main role. So what we will be doing here is that we'll be seeing a set of questions and we'll be drawing conclusions on what are the important or core areas. We'll be enumerating some of the important areas, and in our further sessions, in our further classes, we'll tell you where you have to focus. So in this particular session, we'll be seeing 2 or 3 important or core areas of UPSC, from where you have to give importance from the environment point of view. So look, this question which was asked in 2019. Which one of the following national parks lies completely in the temperate alpine zone? A question from national park, that is protected area. The second question, again, Agasthyamala Biosphere Reserve. A question from protected area. It was also asked in 2019. 2018, the state where Pake Wildlife Sanctuary is located. Again, a protected area. Likewise, which of the following national parks has a climate that varies from tropical to subtropical, temperate and Arctic? See the pattern. This was the question asked in 2015. And in 2019, you can see a question in the same line. Which one of the following national parks lies completely in the temperate alpine zone? So, there are some patterns that UPSC keeps on repeating. Identify them. The next, from ecological point of view, which one of the following assumes importance in being good link between the Eastern Ghats and the Western Ghats? Look the options. They are protected areas. So, in these questions also, look both these questions. Is there any similarity between the options? Yes, the options are being somewhat similar, right? More or less, it is the same options that has been repeated. And you can experiment with more number of questions. Definitely, you will see that options are also being repeated. So all these questions that we have discussed so far is having the protected areas that was asked repeatedly. So you get to know that protected area networks is an important area of UPSC, or it's a core area of UPSC while you are preparing with environment. Right. Now let's look another set of questions. This question, which was asked in 2019, is this asking about Asiatic lion, double-humped camel, one-horned rhinoceros. 2016 again Khairei camel. In 2016 itself about Great Indian Hornbill. Again the same year about state butterfly. In 2017 about Gharial Indian wild ass, wild buffalo, which means that there are some favorite species or important species that UPSC have a keen to ask questions. Keep that in mind. So, species or important species from which every year you can expect questions. Let's move on to the next set of questions. Look, this question, which was again asked in 2019. Agricultural soils release nitrogen oxides into environment. Cattle release ammonia into environment. Poultry industry release reactive nitrogen compounds into environment. Where you can relate all these things to the syllabus, the pollution part, right? Again, in 2019 itself about microbeads from plastic pollution. In 2018 about carbon fertilization, though it is a process relating with photosynthesis, it happens when carbon dioxide is increasing in the atmosphere, right? So this can also be related with pollution. Again in 2017 question was from BOD, biological oxygen demand, which is relating with pollution. So you have got to know that the next important topic from where a must question will be asked for your prelims, that is pollution. So likewise, there are many topics that you can figure out while you are practicing the previous year questions. The international organizations or initiatives, every year questions will be there. So whenever you are practicing your previous year questions, you can find the pattern or the important areas from where questions have been repeatedly asked. When I say that protected areas are important for your prelims preparation or important species, pollution, international organizations and initiatives, you can have a doubt. There are 600 plus protected areas in our country. How to deal with all these protected areas? The answer is simple. Again, look the previous year question. You will find that there are a set of protected areas that UPSC is very fond of. They keep on interchanging these protected areas for their choices as well as for asking questions. So, identify those protected areas and adding to them the current affairs or the protected areas in the current affairs. So, you will get a segregated portion from the 600 plus list. Just have a special focus on those things so that you can really you will really get to know which are the important areas or protected areas that you should have to focus upon. The same strategy applied to important species, pollution as well as all the other topics. UPSC have certain sets of important species that it keeps on asking. Adding to it the current affairs, then you will have to keep a special note on that particular area. Likewise, each and every topic you have to deal. We have only figured out some important or core areas, like you can use this method to find out the other important areas. We will deal with the important areas as we are taking our sessions. In our everyday class, we will deal or we will see the important areas by solving the previous year questions, and all the answers of these questions will be solved in our sessions. Okay, so this is how the core areas or the favorite areas of UPSC is being found out. Right. Now, we have looked upon the trend analysis of prelims as well as mains. We have looked upon the core areas by analyzing the previous year questions. Now, a simple tip is how to relate prelims with mains. As I have told earlier, the prelims preparation and mains preparation is not something that you have to deal separately. It's very better if you deal it in a holistic manner. Just look this. Here the first question. We have already seen this question earlier in the beginning of the session. The question which was asked in 2019. Define the concept of carrying capacity of an ecosystem as relevant to an environment. Explain how understanding this concept is vital while planning for sustainable development of a region. So this particular question, as a question demands, it is asking about a concept. The concept of carrying capacity. Where you are studying carrying capacity? Carrying capacity is being dealt in your prelims module. We are dealing with this concept in your prelims module. So you can answer this question only if you know this particular concept, right? And you have to link this with the sustainable development. So how carrying capacity is dealt with sustainable development is the question. So carrying capacity, then earth overshoot day, all these things should come in this particular question. So something that you have studied in your prelims is what have appeared in the mains as the form of a question, where you have to give it in a subjective manner. So whenever you study concepts in prelims, study it thoroughly, so that whenever questions are asked, you could answer it. And our modules have been segregated in such a manner that whatever we study in prelims, we will be studying it comprehensively. If we are studying about carrying capacity, we are not just studying about the definition, we will study it comprehensively in such a manner that whenever a question is asked, you can answer it. Look the second question about wetland. What is wetland? Explain the Ramsar concept of wise use in the context of wetland conservation. Cite 2 examples of Ramsar sites from India. So what is wetland and the different wetlands in India, the Ramsar Convention, Montreux Record, Wetlands International, all these things we are dealing in our prelims module. And here, the subjective knowledge is required to answer this question. So this particular question was asked in 2018. The third question, Not many years ago, river linking was a concept, but it is becoming reality in the country. Discuss the advantages of river linking and its possible impact on the environment. The question was asked in 2017. Whenever we see news on river linking, what we normally do is we just look which all the rivers are and what are the important species found there, or what are the speciality of natural vegetation found there. But look, this question was not asked in a prelims, where it is asked for your mains. So when it comes to mains, you have here it is asking about the advantages and disadvantages. So whenever you are dealing with such current affairs, make sure that you view it in a mains perspective also. At that point, whenever you need that current affair, at that point itself, make a note on the pros and the cons of that particular development project, or how it is affecting the ecosystem. That is what is being asked here. So this is also we are seeing in our prelims current affair, but the question was asked in the mains. So this is how what you study for your prelims, this is how you relate it with your mains preparation. So these concepts we are seeing in prelims, but you have to apply it in a subjective manner in the mains. How to do that we will be dealing in our daily sessions. Okay. Now it is how we Gallant IAS is going to make you study environment, or how is what is about our strategy. Before telling about our strategy, let me tell you one thing. It's very important to have, or it is better to have your own way of understanding things, your own way of studying things, and your own strategy, rather than relying on someone else, because it is you who is well aware about your strength and your weakness, right? So make a strategy of your own, then it is well and good. Here we are telling how we are dealing with the subject. So we'll be dealing here with prelims and mains. We'll be having an integrated approach. As I have told, the prelims and mains is not separately taught. We are dealing it in an integrated fashion, because what all things you study in prelims have to be connected to your main syllabus also. So whatever we study, we'll be studying it comprehensively. Whether it is conservation of biodiversity or pollution, whatever we study, we'll be studying it in a mains perspective as well, right? And we'll be having the discussion of previous year questions at the end of each module. For the past 15 years, or 10 or 15 years of questions of previous year questions will be dealt at the end of each module. And also important current affairs, we'll be telling you to know the important current affairs, and we'll also be dealing with or discussing the important current affairs with you as well. And don't worry about your answer writing for mains. We'll do it here. We'll be giving you mentors. Answer writing sessions will be held regularly, and the model test, session-wise test, all will be conducted. That is after finishing a particular section, the section-wise test will be conducted, mock test will be conducted, and your prelims test series will be taken care of. So don't worry about that. So this is what our strategy will be. So don't blindly follow any other strategy or this strategy. Make your own, and that will be better for you. This is just a rough framework to make you understand how we'll be dealing with the subject. And in more detailed form, we'll be seeing in our regular classes. So we have come to the end of the session, and when I said that prepare strategy of your own, because there are coaching institutes all over India, and what coaching institutes can give you is only helping hand. They can lend a helping hand, and all the things that should be done by you is the smart work, right? So be a person who is ready to do that smart work. The hard work part will be done by us. We will be giving you the helping hand. And if you have a very dream and if you aspire to achieve it very badly, then we are there helping you for chasing your passion to ace. Thank you.